Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome back, or welcome if it's your first time here. Today I'm diving into day 46 of Rachel Ost's 60-day minimalism challenge. If you've never heard of her or her challenge, it's okay. I'll be linking her channel up above, and both the channel and PDF so you can see her challenge down below. But essentially, day 46 is about finding 2 things that you do to procrastinate. Not only do you have to figure out what those things are, you have to try and figure out a way to minimize or eliminate them. The idea behind this is that you're eliminating things from your life that are wasting your time so that you can really focus on the stuff that matters to you. So in this video, I'll be discussing what I do to procrastinate and what I do to stop procrastinating, and tips that I think will help you do the same. Really identifying what you do to procrastinate is hard. Stop to think about it. We don't want to admit that what we're doing isn't being productive. A lot of us will fight back and will mentally try and trick ourselves into thinking that no, this is something we need to do. Have you ever noticed that before a big test or something in school and you knew you had to study, all of a sudden cleaning your room was super important? And you always told yourself that it needed to get done because you study so much better in a really clean space. The task that you were doing may have been important, but it was not the task that actually needed done at the time. So it took me a while to be able to figure out what it is I do to procrastinate. Because what I do is projects, and in my mind, those are important too, they need done. So an example of this is I have an upcoming series that I want to do, and I know that I want to do this series. So an easy way for me to procrastinate is I do research for it. This can take hours, and it's really fun for me, so it's not stressful at all or anything, but it's not what I'm meant to be doing at that time. That's the first thing I do to procrastinate, is I over-prepare for future projects. And the other thing I do to really procrastinate is I let myself fall into the vortex of YouTube. I'm usually very good at using social media in an intentional way. Normally, I'm not spending any more than 10 minutes on any social media app throughout the day. And if I am, it's spread out and it's still under an hour a day. Except for YouTube. I normally watch maybe an hour of YouTube a day. And this is spread out based on various videos, various times in the day. But I frequently fall into that trap. And I'm hoping you know what I mean when I say a YouTube vortex. Where you start watching one thing and you've got the best of intentions. You're only watching the one video. But something in a sidebar catches your attention, so you click it. And then the next one. And the next one, and maybe that's how you found this video. The YouTube vortex is a very real thing, and it can lead you to places you didn't realize you were even semi-interested in. The YouTube vortex is very real. You fall into this rabbit hole where you don't realize how much time you are spending on YouTube. But maybe you know you have something you need to do, and you mentally said one video or 10 minutes. And that one video, that 10 minutes, that's grown exponentially, and all of a sudden it's 4 hours later and you don't have time to do that thing, so you're just gonna go to bed and it can get done tomorrow. So those are my 2 things that I do to procrastinate. I research and over-prepare, and I fall into the YouTube vortex. But now the fun part, and the much less difficult part for me, was figuring out ways that I could minimize these actions. So I'm going to narrow this down into 3 tips that I think will work for you as well as they worked for me. Now, of course, you might have to adapt these a little bit because I don't know what your two things are, but hey, we'll get there. Tip number 1, use a timer. If I know that I'm going to sit down and do some research, I will set a timer for 15 minutes. And if I decide that I'm done and I can move on to the next task, prior to that timer, great. If not, when that timer goes off, I have to do at least 15 minutes of the actual work that needs done. Now, in a perfect world, you do the 15 minutes and then at least an hour of whatever task that needs done, or until it's actually done, before you take your next 15. But for some people, depending on the task, 15, 15, 15 might be easier. Tip number 2. Tell yourself that you have to do that task and then have as much time as you want. And I realize that for a lot of people you're sitting there going, but I'm procrastinating. Obviously, I've tried that. The idea behind this trick is that you're strengthening your willpower and your ability to make a resolve. And maybe it won't work the first time, but maybe for some smaller tasks like taking out the garbage when you just really don't feel like it, taking that deep breath and realizing that you don't need to procrastinate. This is a task that takes less than 5 minutes. Get up and do it, get it out of the way. So if you know that this task will take you 5 minutes or less, this tip works very well. Just take a breath and tell yourself to suck it up. It will not take long. You are prolonging it and making it a more dreadful task the longer you procrastinate. And my third and final tip is to find a friend, a coworker, a family member, someone you trust, and have them hold you accountable. Because really, if you know that something needs to be done by X day, tell yourself and somebody else that it's due the day before or several hours before. The timeline exactly will differ based on the task at hand, but give yourself a slightly earlier deadline. Hold yourself accountable. We all seem to really work well under pressure. Those of us who procrastinate, we tell ourselves, well, I work better under pressure anyway, it'll get done. So move up your deadline. The pressure is on, faster. You can also do this by breaking tasks up and tell yourself that this task is due this date to try and build your momentum. But the idea is to hold yourself accountable. Change the deadline. Change when and how the pressure is applied. And I don't know that all of these tips will apply to you and what it is that you do to procrastinate. But all 3 of them have helped me, and I'm hoping they help you as well. If you have other tips, please leave them in the comments below, because I do find myself procrastinating here and there. Feel free to like this video if you liked it, and I'll see you all next week. Bye.